Well, hello there, Patriots. It's Hit the Fan, so let's get started, shall we?
Cut out the jibber jabber. Don't be babbling like a fool. Say what you got to say. That's all. Then shut your dang pie hole.
Oh, we've got some trouble, folks. And the question is, do you have a right to resist? Do I? Do we? Do the people get a say in anything? I thought it was about, well, this is what the liberals say, the goose-stepping liberals. It's about democracy. We must protect democracy. It's amazing how right now Nancy Pants Pelosi is talking about the threat to our freedoms, that Roe v. Wade being discussed by the Supreme Court, it's a threat to our freedoms. And in the very next breath, she'll say, you don't have a right to speak. You don't have a right to resist. You do have a right to resist, folks. And that is embodied in the First Amendment and the Second. Oh, most people never thought of putting those two together. First, I resist with this, and then I resist with my hands. When we talk about shit hitting the fan, it is a series of events. It is not a single event, a seminal event that just occurs and we instantly know it. It is a process to get there. Now, one of the best ways to condition a people in our modern era, to condition a people for change, like the Great Reset, the best way to get them ready is to show them it occurring in another country, to televise it every night. For example, during the cerveza bug lockdowns, before it came to America, what did we see? We saw trouble in China. So we thought, expect trouble in America. Then we saw trouble in Europe, and we said, it's getting closer. They showed us lockdowns in China. Then they showed us lockdowns in Italy and Europe. And then they said, okay, America, you lock down. And everyone was, bam, shocked into it. They show us what's going on somewhere else. They justify it and say, look, this had to be done. And then they introduce it at home. We have a right to resist, folks. We have a right to resist anything that is against our better natures, our Constitution, our own morality. We have a right to resist. And in SHTF, that doesn't change. It's not like, well, this is an emergency, so your right to resist is gone. Your right to speak freely is now silent. Your right to take up arms in defense of yourself and your country, it now is no longer existing because we have an emergency. Well, I want to give you an example where it's happening overseas and it's being shown in America on a daily basis. It's out there. It's just out there. Conditioning the human sheep in America. Are you a sheep or are you free? What am I talking about? It's now official. It started weeks ago, but it's official now. We're seeing in Ukraine what will be coming to America. They're using Voldemort Zelensky, a little skinny jeans wearing fruitcake of a puppet in Ukraine. He's not the leader, folks, of a free people. He is not the leader of a democracy. He is the leader of SHTF and tyranny. We saw him weeks ago arrest somebody who was using free speech to oppose what Zelensky was doing, to call him to the carpet for what he was doing to his country and his countrymen. Zelensky is a sellout, folks. This weekend, he signed a law banning opposition parties. That's right. If you oppose him politically, political free speech, the right to argue, to make another case. If you oppose him, you are arrested. Everyone, it's now a law. It's no longer an emergency edict. It's no longer the word from on high. No, now it's a law, as if they had Parliament step in. And the people thought about it and they debated it publicly. This is how a constitutional republic is supposed to work, folks. Someone offers an idea. It goes to the people. The people talk about it. They discuss it. They debate it. And then it goes to their representatives, who also discuss it and debate it. They hear what the people say, and then they vote on it. And if it's unconstitutional, they throw it out. If it is constitutional and it doesn't make any sense or help, they throw it out. And then if it's, by golly, both constitutional and makes sense, then they typically vote for things like that because it's supposed to improve things. Tell me how banning opposition in Ukraine is going to help the Ukraine people. All Voldemort has to do is surrender and come to terms with Putin. Instead, he lies about coming to terms with Putin and wanting to have meetings. He doesn't. He is a puppet. He is doing what his masters demand he does. So he signs a law banning opposition. No right to resist. And then also seizing their property. It's not just that you're silenced. It's not just that you're arrested and thrown in jail, in prison. But you have your property stolen as well for daring to oppose, for daring to resist. Is that what we have in America? Oh, ask Nancy Pants Pelosi, right? She said, oh, it's just, I won't even repeat what she said here. She called Trump a creature. This sick, twisted, hideous human being, Nancy Pelosi, wants to call Trump a creature as if he is a monster and she isn't. She wants silence, folks. She wants you to shut up and do as you're told. She is no different than Zelensky in that respect. And Zelensky, who is having his country torn to pieces because of his political motivations, his political aspirations, he has caused this and brought it on Ukraine and the people by pushing and pushing and pushing Vladimir Putin and Russia, by violating and threatening to seriously violate a treaty they had. A treaty which brought about peace at a time of chaos and conflict in Ukraine because there was a coup d'etat 8 years ago. And here we are, folks. Zelensky is showing us what they want to do in America. They want to have an emergency, a war, if you will. They want to ban opposition to it. They don't want anyone to talk about an alternative way of dealing with the problem, which criminalizes the people, which silences them, and then taking their property. That's an additional threat so that nobody will resist. Nobody. Doubt me on this? Don't. I'm saying look, listen, understand. Tyranny is theft. Tyranny is murder. Look at the Soviet Union. Look at communist China. They banned all opposition parties. That's what communism does. They ban opposition parties. That's what socialism does. They silence their opposition so there is no resistance when it comes to debate, because there can't be resistance when it comes to totalitarian government. Socialism is totalitarian, whether it's socialism light or further along. It always gradually moves to stricter and stricter and stricter and stricter controls. It always graduates to more and more and more demands on the people. The right to resist is inherent in us as human beings. It is inherent in our common law. It is inherent in our Declaration of Independence, and it is inscribed and prescribed in our Constitution in the First and the Second Amendments. The right to resist, folks, especially in times of emergency, especially when shit hits the fan. I am not calling for violence, right? This is a satirical look at the world we live in. You have a right to resist politically, free speech. It is not a bad thing. It's a good thing, right? Look what Zelensky is doing and see how that could come to America. You know, because Kathy Hochul says she wants to silence the voices of hate, yet it is voices of hatred on the left that want to burn everything, burn it to the ground. They want to kill folks and silence the Supreme Court for daring to touch one of their sacred udders, right? Roe v. Wade, on their sacred cow. The teat, folks, that feeds these sick people and their mentality. We have a fight in front of us, and we are not going to lose this. This is not a call to arms, as another violent, censoring Democrat mayor, Beetlejuice, said. This is not a call to arms. This is a call to resist using your First Amendment rights. If you're silent, you acquiesce. Remember, silence is violence, says the left. Silence is violence, says the left. Isn't the same true for us? Stand up and resist. Call, text, fax, email, anything you can, your elected representatives, and start standing up for yourself. This is part of the Prep to Action program. Get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Support others by spreading the free speech message. You can do that right here by sharing this URL, the internet address for this video and others. All the Prepared Mind material is about getting prepared and taking action to defend yourselves. Preparing is defending yourself against a collapsed system, SHTF. Taking action ahead of time will help us win back our America. The Supreme Court is doing us a service by getting rid of this filthy Roe v. Wade decision. We need to capitalize on that by making free speech a part of that. We have a right to disagree. We have a right to speak. We have a right to live freely. We have our rights, period. Government is not the source, the giver, the grantor of rights. Those come from on high. Those are ours first and foremost. And it's through our rights, our right to life, to organize, to speak, that we created government. Government did not create us. We're going to have that fight once again, folks. And it should be a fight of words. You can see, though, the violence of the left. Zelensky, no opposition. We're going to steal your property. We're the government. They're trying to show us that over there so that we can see it over here and allow it to happen. I will not. I hope that you'll join me in getting prepared and taking action to protect yourself, folks. Resist what is being done. It's going to get louder. It's going to get nastier. The same way parents are resisting schools, the same way in social media, we're resisting their lies by speaking truths. Take action on your own behalf, folks. Help yourselves. Help your family. Help others. Godspeed, Semper Fi. Chance favors the prepared mind. Aren't you glad you are a prepper?